The last time you saw me, I just jumped off the Mostar Bridge in Bosnia Herzegovina.
You're alive! Yeah, I got rocked.
And while I felt like I'd been hit by a bus and my cameraman could no longer walk,
there's like a crack in the bone.
We weren't going to let that stop us from exploring the rest of the country. So off to Sarajevo we went. We have been pulled over by Bosnian police. Normally you're just supposed to pay them off with like 20 marks, that's their currency, but we have 0 Bosnian money. He's paying them something. Ooh, looks like they're accepting USD. What happened?
Got pulled over for going 90 and an 80, and they wrote me a ticket, and they said usually it'd be 50 marks, but they would take 20 USD right now.
All right.
And so
we're good to go?
We're good to go. They were nice. They called me a cowboy from Texas.
Typical cowboy move, going 90 and an 80.
Exactly.
Okay, now where was I? Oh yeah, we were off to Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Prior to arriving, the only thing I knew about the city was that it was where World War I kicked off, so thought that'd be a logical place to kick off the tour as well. This is where Gavrilo Princip assassinated the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Franz Ferdinand, which started World War I, which then started World War II, which then started a whole bunch of other shit. But it almost didn't even happen. So the assassination attempt was a shit show from the start. There were 6 people here who all had the goal of killing Franz Ferdinand. They were members of the Black Hand. No, this is not a Marvel movie, this is real life. The first 2 would-be assassins pussy out. They don't even attempt to kill him. The third guy is like, yeah, I got the balls to do it. So he throws a bomb at Franz Ferdinand's car, but it just bounces off the back, lands in the street, explodes, injures like 20 people, does not injure Franz Ferdinand. So he's like, shit, I just missed my one chance to blow. Opportunity only comes once in a lifetime. Yo, I'm fucked. So he pops a cyanide pill and runs over to this river and jumps in. Now, the river was only like 13 centimeters deep at the time. As you can see, it's probably 13 centimeters deep right now. So he doesn't drown, and there wasn't enough cyanide in the pill to kill him, just enough to make him puke his brains out. And a giant mob comes, drags him out, beats the living shit out of him before he gets taken away by the cops and later hung. Now at this point, Franz knows, all right, these people are trying to kill me. He gets away safely. They go to the town hall. They're there for a while. They're like, should we just wait till troops come into the city and secure it? And he's like, no, I would like to visit the bombing victims because that will probably earn me some goodwill with the Bosnians. So eventually, I don't know who approved this, they decide to leave the town hall and head towards the hospital. But on the way to the hospital, I think they're probably coming down this street or coming over this bridge. Franz Ferdinand's driver makes a wrong turn. And he's like, fuck, I gotta go in reverse. So he puts the car in reverse, and when he's doing that, it stalls out. It just so happens to stall out in front of Gavrilo Princip, who was one of the other Black Hand assassins. And he's like, holy shit, I thought I missed my chance, but he's literally right here. So he walks up to the car, I think they have a replica of the car over there, and just shoots Franz Ferdinand and his wife point blank. They both die. Now it's just a scenic street corner, and you wouldn't know that this is where it all began. Someone had a quote, I think I wrote it down. It was fucking Bismarck. The next great European war will begin over some damned foolish thing in the Balkans. And what happened? So shout out Bismarck for calling his shot. I wish he hadn't, honestly, but he did. Unfortunately, Sarajevo isn't just where a war started. It's also where a brutal war was fought not too long ago. When Bosnia declared its independence from Yugoslavia in 1992, Serb forces encircled the city for 1,425 days, in what would end up being the longest siege of a capital city in the history of modern warfare. During the blockade, nothing was allowed in or out of Sarajevo, so in order to supply the military and civilian population with food, war supplies, and humanitarian aid, the Bosnian army built a 960-meter tunnel which connected the city to an area near the airport controlled by the UN. Did the Serb forces find out about the tunnel during
the war?
They
knew there was a tunnel, but They never knew the exact location of the tunnel.
Now I know all this war talk isn't painting the city in the best light, but on a more positive note, Sarajevo hosted the Winter Olympics in 1984, and we had a chance to explore the bobsled track left over from the games. It was the first time Winter Olympics were held in a socialist country, and it was the first time the Olympics were held in a Balkan country since the original Olympics in Athens, Greece. Beautiful around here too. I feel like I'm in like for a month. The track was heavily damaged and then abandoned after being used as an artillery position during the war. But thanks to local graffiti artists, it has since become one of the city's most unique tourist attractions. I feel like every bobsled track that isn't being used should just be converted into a hiking trail / art exhibit. This is so cool. I only say one of its most unique attractions, as Sarajevo also has wild horses. Goddamn horse got into the trash again. Oh man, he's eating plastic. What is this place? Hey, don't eat plastic, eat this.
Oh no, it has plastic on it.
No, it's okay, he was eating a full, straight up plastic bag. Do horses like oranges?
I guess.
Ah, fuck. Rolled under the car. Shit. Alright, yeah, I think you need to back up. Whoa. What was that? That was another horse. He didn't make that sound.
No way you made that.
We didn't have any more fruit for its friends, and we're starting to get pretty hungry ourselves. So headed into town to try the dish Bosnia is most famous for, Cevapi. We're here at Cevapi, Zeljo. I don't really know how to pronounce any of that, but I hear they make some of the best Savapis in the whole world. Now, Savapis are eaten all over the Balkans, but Bosnia specifically is known for making the best ones. It's sort of like a hot dog hamburger hybrid, but somehow possibly better than both. Now that I recall, 7-Eleven used to sell something just called like a cheeseburger dog, and it looked disgusting. And it tasted disgusting too. These, I mean, they don't look great, but they are delicious. You serve them with bread, some cheese, some chopped onions, some salad, and you kind of make your own sandwich. All right, boom. Got a little Savapwich. We're getting Vapi with it. They call me the Savapi Poppy around these parts. But I've heard these are the best Cevapi in the land. And that they were. Best meat logs I've had in my life. Well, now that I was well acquainted with the local food, it was time to get to know some local humans. More specifically, 2 members of Dubioza Collective, which is arguably the most viral band to come out of Bosnia. How would you describe the music that you make?
It's pretty eclectic.
Yes, I left my motherland and went so far to get a good job and a brand new car.
It's like any popular genre of music that is happening right now combined with some traditional elements of Balkan music.
Online, it was calling you a hip-hop group.
I know it's fake news.
Really don't think of what matters here. Only goal is to keep the money flow going on.
I'm here with Bosnian rappers, Dubioza Collective. I've been making YouTube videos for like 8 years. You have way more views than me. How did you build your fan base?
We did this kind of free download thing.
Okay.
Before it was a thing. Yeah.
Our music is for free. You can download MP3. Keep it playing on repeat. If you hate it, press delete.
After 1 week we had like 300,000 downloads of the album, and we did first 2 albums with very small local record label, and then when we did this free download thing, all the record labels become interested, because when they see the numbers, they I guess figure it out too late that there is something.
I'm gonna leave this place. I'm going out of space.
If you guys ever want to collab, I've made some hip-hop tracks in the past. I
You have a good voice.
I have some music videos. Been around the world from Bosnia to Boston. So when I die, put Savapi in my coffin. Dubiosa can play the eulogy. They give their music out for free, unlike jewelry.
Do you need a job?
Don't need a job, but if you want to collab, that would be cool. When you guys were young, what type of music did you like?
I was really good student in my elementary school.
Yeah.
And then I saw these videos on MTV Raps, Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul and The Public Enemy. I went completely nuts about hip hop and basketball. I was playing basketball. So from really good student, I get to 3 Fs. That means I have to repeat the year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I didn't know how to describe, how to say this to my parents. So I was really anxious about it. I put my things together. I wanted to go to school, but my parents was in a living room watching TV. Everything was in smoke of cigarettes, and they said, just go back to your room, you're not going to school today. I was like, why? They said, the war started today. So I went back to my room and I said yes, because I didn't have to tell them that I'm gonna skip the year, there's no school.
Screw bells. This dude was saved by the war. It was fascinating learning how different his upbringing was than mine. I mean, the guy had never seen a pineapple until the Olympics came to town.
There was no pineapple.
In all of Bosnia, no pineapples.
Maybe even Yugoslavia.
Wow.
Because government didn't let in a lot of import.
They had policy of self-sustainability, so you produce locally.
But to make all the foreign journalists and athletes in town for the games happy, they finally imported some pineapples.
So one day my father bring this weird fruit. I didn't even know it's fruit. Something weird.
Something ugly.
And he started cutting that, and everybody came around table to see what the fuck this guy's doing,
Oh.
And then he said we should try this, and it was the imaginary travel
to the tropics. Or,
something like that. To scenes from the movies that I saw.
So you guys have performed in the U.S., right?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, we did a tour.
I'm from Bosnia, take me to America. I really want to see Statue of Liberty. I can no longer wait, take me to United States. Take me to Golden Gate, I will assimilate.
In the U.S., most people don't know too much about Bosnia. What do you think people back in the U.S. should know about this country?
From Sarajevo, in 2 hours you are on seaside, and then from Sarajevo in half an hour you are skiing on Olympic mountains and amazing rivers. Everything which is natural in Bosnia is amazing. Only the people are wrong.
Okay.
Because right now we have three ethnicities.
Bosniaks, Serbs and Croats. Competing
in between themselves, which is completely stupid and wrong in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 million people you can feed with like 3 fields of potato in Bosnia. It's basically very simple.
Yeah.
But politicians are the one who are making it very complicated, so all the potatoes go to them.
Now I hope this isn't too much of a political question. Why did Croatia take all of your coastline?
It was not in this century.
I mean, if you do like fast forward kind of thing for 500 years, you would see this kind of coast would go like changing. Yeah. I don't like to discuss about history in that matters because there is no conclusion anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just a waste of time. I'm happy that I lived in Sarajevo all my life because I learned to be, kako se kaže, humble, yeah. Like difference between, I don't know, Los Angeles and Sarajevo. In Los Angeles, let's say Los Angeles, whatever, everybody try to become a star. In Sarajevo, it's completely different. Everybody have to be equal and same. If your head go above, they cut your head. Like when Bono Vox from U2 come to Sarajevo, which he comes regularly here, he said, this is the first time that I walk in the street and without bodyguards. Nobody gives a shit, nobody cares. Everybody respect him. Nobody asks for, autograph or something like that because they don't want to bother a guy.
The only famous person here who had some trouble was Franz Ferdinand, I guess. But that was a long time ago.
So we don't want to repeat that.
No. Well, hey, even if Bosnia doesn't fetishize celebrities like the US, these dudes were definitely stars in my book. After the interview, they took me out to eat some burik, a traditional Bosnian pastry filled with things like meat, cheese, and spinach. Then we began the drive back to Croatia, where a Croatian-American stoolie had invited me to a wine harvest rager at a family farm. See you next week.